Apple has just announced the 14 series at the company's Far Out event. That was yesterday at the time that I'm making this content. The latest iPhone generation consists of 4 iPhones. That is the iPhone 14, the iPhone 14 Plus, the 14 Pro, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So the funny thing is that Apple keeps releasing new generation of iPhones almost every year, whilst people like us can't afford the old ones. Does it mean they are mocking us or what? This particular release is a lack of the mini model in favor of the large, affordable iPhone, the iPhone 14 Plus. It shares hardware with the regular iPhone 14, but has a much larger 6.7-inch display, making it a more affordable version of the more expensive and premium iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let's explore the ins and outs of the iPhone 14 series. Pre-orders for the iPhone 14 series will be open in a couple of days' time on September 9th. The Apple 14 will be released to the market on the 7th of September 2022. Meanwhile, the iPhone 14 Plus will be available on October 7th. Despite rumors for the price hike across board, Apple kept the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus starting prices at $799 and $899 respectively. Meanwhile, the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max didn't score any price increase, either starting at $999 and $1,099. The iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus don't really have any big hardware changes, just marginal ones, but iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max have scored some neat camera improvements. The big change here is the new 48 megapixel Sony made 1.3-inch camera sensor on the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, which will be using pixel binding to achieve much better low light camera sensitivity than before. The data from 4 camera sensor pixels will be used together to capture much more detail and less noise at the expense of lower outage image resolution. The iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus look mostly similar to the iPhone 13 in terms of overall design. However, the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max look very different from their predecessors, with punch hole cutouts. The full frontals of the 2 new Pro phones look much more modern in the comparison with the display knots of the older models. Aside from that, the now standard flat design that was kickstarted by the iPhone 12 generation has been kept alive and is unlikely to go anywhere in the near future. What's more, Apple has embraced the new notch area. Instead of trying to hide it, it has built a whole new level of functionality around it called Dynamic Island. The new notch area has a trove of new functionality additions to iOS that will make use of the previously lacking upper top area of the iPhone. For example, the Dynamic Island extends. So the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max colors are space black, silver, gold, and deep purple. The iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Plus are also similar to last year's iPhone 13, as they enjoy the same general design with diagonally shaped camera islands at the rear and slim notches up front. Of course, the iPhone 14 Plus is first of its kind and is basically a supersized version of the regular iPhone 14 with larger battery and display on board. Color wise, we have midnight black, starlight white, and blue. We have red, and also purple for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. So now let's talk about iPhone 14 specs and hardware. Now Apple has a bit of surprise in store. The iPhone 14 and 14 Plus comes with the iPhone 13 Pro chipset, the Apple A15 Bionic with 5-core GPU. This is the first time that a new iPhone generation ships with the last year's Apple chipset. Now has some 15% better performance in a comparison with the iPhone 13. Meanwhile, the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max comes with the Apple A16 Bionic chipset. Its first 4nm chipset with 16 billion transistors on deck. The 6-core configuration has been kept with Apple, saying the 2 performance cores now use 20% less power than the Apple A15 Bionic. Graphic wise, Apple says the GPU now has 50% more memory, which will improve the overall performance. In terms of connectivity, the iPhone 14, the iPhone 14 Plus, and the iPhone 14 Pro, and lastly the iPhone 14 Pro Max supports 5G, just like the iPhone 12 and then the iPhone 13 generations. eSIMs is available on all the new models, but the physical SIM card will not be available on any of the new iPhone 14 sold in the US. That is right, you will have to resort to an eSIM if you get any of the new iPhones in the US. As is traditional for Apple battery sizes aren't officially disclosed, and information about the capacity in both milliamp per hour and watt hour will become available at the later date. However, Apple gives an estimate of how long each phone will last you in a couple of different scenarios. So depending on what you are using the phone for, it can last between 20 hours to 100 hours, yeah, depending on what you are using the iPhone, any of the series, depending on what you are using them for. So it can last between 20 hours to 100 hours. As you can see, it's a toss-up between the iPhone 14 Plus and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The more affordable the model has the better audio playback endurance, but the premium iPhone 14 Pro Max has better video playback battery life. It will be very interesting to see how these two compare in terms of raw battery life usage. On the topic of charging, the maximum watt charging is officially stated as 20 watts for all 4 models, with up to 50% charge in around 30 minutes. Though we suppose that a powerful charger would juice up the phones slightly faster. MagSafe is present on all 4 new models as Apple is continuing to build up the MagSafe ecosystem. The wireless charging is capped up to 15 watts. So these are all the vital information you should know about iPhone 14 series. Thank you for watching this video. If today is the first time watching a video from my channel, don't forget to subscribe and to turn on post notification. My name is Adekinsi, and catch you up in the next upload.